Hey guys, it's Max. How's everyone doing? Appreciate y'all for being here. Let's share this screen. All right, I have a new video for you. I wrote it 2 nights ago. I stayed up late and wrote it 2 nights ago. All right. Reaction to latest J video. And it was 2 days ago. It was a video by Rod. Great video, Rod. As usual, good job. All right. So, yeah, I owe an apology. I told someone during the live stream, they asked a dumb question. And of course, there are no dumb questions. I apologized in the comments during the live stream, but I don't know if they saw it. Also, evidently, I just heard today from a subscriber that I compared people who bought the fund SFAL to a part of the female anatomy, and that wasn't appropriate either. I'm sorry about that as well. I like SFAL. I'll make some content. SFAL is a good fund. I was being facetious. It's actually a good fund. I like that it's safe. I like safe funds. I mean, it's extra safe. That's kind of what I was saying. I was making fun of it for being a safe fund, but safe is good. So anyway, don't pay attention to me. All right. So I had some other remarks about the video in general. All right. So Jay is a very political person, and I'm going to give you some of my interpretations. He's really careful not to hurt anyone's feelings and stuff. But I can tell you he's not worried about Roundhill, not in the least bit. And the reason I know is because I've been asking him these questions for months. I've been worried about the Roundhills since they opened because of the uncapped at nighttime situation. I've seen that study before that everyone knows about. That's a famous study that's been in the market for years that you can actually buy the open and short you can buy the close and short the open just mechanically, and you make hella money. You get more because most of the return over the past like 25 years has come at night for whatever reason. It's come during the 24-hour period. So yeah, there's all kinds of studies like that. So the Roundhill system, monetizes that feature. I tried to tell this to Jay. It was the first thing I mentioned when we got to dinner, and he just immediately shot it down. He told me they're going to drop like a rock when the market goes down. And I think he still feels that way. You notice even he says, okay, we're going to do some zero DTE options. We're going to throw some of that in there. But he said, he's pretty firm. He said, we still think our way is the best way. So, and I agree. It is if you maximize income and safety. But anyway, it should be interesting to see what he does. So here's my other thing. I bet what he does is I bet he has something where they actually, some days they do a true what I call a 7-hour option or 6-hour option. They sell the option first thing in the morning. I bet they do that on big gap downs, and they'll turn that into their little advantage because especially in bull markets, big gap downs are usually followed by really very fast mean reversion. Anyway, you could hear JC say that he was studying it and they come out with something. So I bet that's what they do. I bet they don't always get the shorter term option, but I bet they do when they have a big gap down. That's my prediction. So we'll see. We'll see if I'm right. All right. So the other thing I want to say is these ETFs, I don't think they're going anywhere. I know they've lost some AUM lately. And I know that's caused that causes some people to worry, and I get that. A part of the AUM they're losing is because Roundhill's picking it up, but also part of the AUM that JEPY is losing is to SPY-T. They're also kind of cannibalizing themselves when they release the target funds. However, I'll also say this: people kept asking for target funds, but I kind of picked up from them. They said, well, you have to buy the ones that we have out first. I get the idea. Triple QT is not growing that fast, I noticed. So anyway, I like target funds too and stuff, but they don't seem to be as popular as the funds that pay the higher amounts. So, all right. But I just want to say it's a common misnomer that these ETFs rely on continued investment from new buyers. so you can make money. And that's just not so. I mean, that is true kind of penny stocks or NFTs or some things. And I guess in the grand scheme of things, you don't want everyone to sell these where Jay and Sylvia don't want to do the ETFs anymore, but you don't need more people to buy so you can get out, is what I'm saying. That's not the way they're designed. And the other thing is, but even, these funds have lost AUM, but even they still have like 100 million. Look at THTA. It's a great fund. It has like 37. Z-Hedge, great fund. It's not going anywhere. It's something about the same size. There's, they mentioned the other day, it's like funds that are like 5 and 10. Those are the ones that get shut down. These funds up here make money. 1% of 35 million is still pretty good money, right? I mean, you can make a decent living off $350,000. All right. What I was going to say is the reason we know that these funds don't rely on new investor money to pay old investors is they have a very interesting mechanism that's called the creation and redemption, mechanism, whatever. I'm acting like I know about it. I learned about this from in New York from Mike, the guy at Tidal, and I'm just going to kind of tell you what he told me. Hopefully we'll get him on here and he can say this better, but he was explaining to me how creation and redemption works and how it's a really tax advantage way to do stuff compared to the way they used to do stuff, and compared to the way they've always done stuff. So, okay, let's think about it this way. If you guys ever pulled money together from friends, to invest. So, it's hard. Well, wonder if somebody loses his job and wants his capital back. I mean, you have to sell your investment to get him out. And, of course, you're supposed to get this stuff worked out ahead of time. So the ETF structure, it puts a mechanism where you don't even have to worry about that kind of stuff. So the ETF gives people the daily liquidity. So that's the big key to the ETF, especially even compared to the mutual fund just a generation before. A mutual fund, you had in-day liquidity, but the ETF, you have liquidity just like trades just like a stock. But the reason that's important is because the trading just like a stock is it lets people get out and in. But it's important to give people the liquidity to get out. But it's also important because it's a good way to keep your money and their money separate. So because at the end of every day, they look at the net creations or redemptions. And if more people have sold, that's fine. The market makers, the authorized participants, will give them their money back. But then they will go to Zega and they will get the stock and options for those people, though, because Zega doesn't need to sell as many options if people sell out. So they'll just get their options back. So the market maker, and the way Mike Venuto explained it to me, the market maker, which is also called the authorized participant, and it's usually it's the guys at Citadel is who we were meeting in New York. It could be Susquehanna, but the guys at Citadel, they don't know cash trades hands, and that's why it's a tax advantaged way to do it. It's what's called an in-kind transaction. Market maker has cash on hand. They cash everybody out. They're like the banker, and they just take the securities back. Well, from the broker. So then from the traders, then Zega's fine. Then the market maker has securities, but that's what market makers do. It sells securities. So as soon as they take the extra stocks or options back, they get rid of them. So it's a great system, and it makes it where, especially compared to mutual funds, there's huge tax advantages. All right. But if everyone cashes out, that's fine. They'll just sell less options, but they'll still sell options for you. The only thing we don't want to see is everyone cash out to the point, like I see, where it gets under 10 million and Jay and Sylvia call it quits. But it's not like if it goes from 90 million to 50 million, the people that leave early are going to take your money. I think that's a misconception that they work like that, but they don't, and they require more people to buy them. It's just a big trading club. They figure out how much money they have, and then they sell as many options as they can for however much money they have. split up the money at the end of every day. If you're out, that's fine. They give your money back. If you're in, you got, it's pretty simple, right? All right. But this is why the NAV appears to decay or erode. That's not really erosion so much. It's the market going down. So at the end of the day, after the market's gone down a bunch, the NAV has to go down. So when people get out, the market makers don't have to give them so much money. If the market maker, if the NAV didn't go down, then they would be getting your money if they left. That's what the whole thing avoids. That's why the NAV has to go down. If you don't sell, that's fine, but the NAV has to go down to let people in and out at a fair price and to keep the partnership going. Okay, so let's just do it another way. Let's say I have about $250,000 to invest, and so does Rod. And so together we come up with $570,000. Well, $570,000 is how much you need to sell one put option on the SPX. Okay, well, that's the same thing JEPY does. So Rod and I are just going to do JEPY ourselves, right? Because we can together, because we'll just sell one option every day. Well, these options go for about, if you watch my show, $15, $20 a day. So $1,500, $2,000 most days, right? So it's early August and the market starts selling off. You guys remember that? Well, on August 5th, actually, the August 5th premium was $3,000, but the market was selling off and it cost a lot of money to close. You guys remember all these JEPY got killed. So on August 5th, after the market crash, Rod freaks out. He tells me, hey, I'm out of here. I want my money back. All right. So that sucks, though, because I'm going to have to bail out of the strategy at the low of the summer to give Rod his money back. And then with my half of the money, I don't have enough to put the trade back on. And this happens at the exact worst time, right? Okay, well, the ETF creation redemption mechanism, prevents this nightmare. That's what happens when you deal with friends' money. In the ETF wrapper, the NAV trades freely on the open market. And if the trade starts losing a lot of money, the NAV goes down, and that sucks. If you don't sell, like if I don't sell, that's fine. I'm fine. But if somebody loses their nerve and wants to sell, they have to take the lower price. The NAV is just a great equalizer scorekeeper, right? Don't forget, it can also go up also, and it does go up all the time. But that's what I want to say about AUM. I don't think the AUM is so crucial I think people that are worried about it, at first I thought people were trying to troll Jay and Sylvia, but there are people that are legitimately worried about it, and that's why I apologize, and I'm sorry about that. But I think as long as we can keep it above 20, we're fine, because it's like, I was going to say, it's like most things on the internet that you hear, the opposite is actually true. Actually, what really happens, according to Panda, if you watch his videos on high yield tourism, too many people pile in these funds because they're too popular, and that can cost you a little bit of money on your yield due to high yield tourism. That's a thing, but I don't think it's a thing that like everyone is going to leave the fund and there's not going to be money for you. And I think that's any money left over for you. And I think that's what some people think. So I just wanted to try to clear that up. All right, guys. Well, I appreciate y'all for being here. Remember, not financial advice. A good financial planner is worth his weight in gold, especially on these more complex topics that deal with estate planning and stuff. And there's a lot of good advice out there. Go get you some. All right, guys. I appreciate you. Have a good day.